As long as I stand, Babylon lives.
All flames die, Ira, even yours.
Why fight? The dark always wins.
You are nothing. I am fire incarnate. I built worlds. Now I crush them. Run or rot. Makes no difference.
The storm was never gone, only waiting.
I am the end. You cannot stop me.
The halls of Persepolis, the heart of the Persian Empire, were darkened with the weight of defeat. The grand city, which had once echoed with the triumphant strides of its king, now brooded under a veil of tension. The fires that burned in the braziers along the walls cast long, flickering shadows, as if even the light hesitated to pierce the gloom that had settled over the palace.
Babylon still stands. I have conquered half the known world, yet that cursed city remains beyond my grasp. We should be celebrating its fall, yet here we are, licking our wounds like beaten dogs.
My lord, Babylon's defenses are formidable, yes, but it was not the walls that defeated us. It was the man who leads them, this Ira. He is no ordinary warrior. He possesses powers beyond human understanding, powers that turned the tide of battle against us.
Ira, a man with divine power, they say. But every man bleeds, Mazarez. Even gods can fall.
True, my lord, but to defeat such power, we must be cunning. We must use means that are beyond the grasp of ordinary men. Sheer force alone will not suffice.
And what means do you propose, Mazaris? We threw everything we had at that city, and still we were driven back. What more can we do?
There are forces in this world that even the gods fear, Gobryas. In the chaos that followed Marduk's division of the worlds, many creatures of great power were scattered, lost to the annals of time. Among them are the giants, beings of immense strength and deep hatred for mankind. They were cast out and forgotten, but they still live, hidden in the remote corners of the earth.
The giants, creatures of enormous size, driven by greed and malice. But they are creatures of chaos. Why would they fight for us?
Because they hate the human race, my lord. And because they are greedy. They crave wealth, power, and the destruction of those they see as beneath them. We can offer them all that and more. I know where they dwell, far to the north, in the mountains where the world ends. I will go to them, and I will offer them what they desire most, riches beyond their wildest dreams, and a chance to crush the humans they despise.
And what makes you think they will not turn on us once they have what they want? Giants are not known for their loyalty or their reason.
Because we will not trust them. We will use them, harness their strength, and once Babylon falls, we will deal with them as we see fit. They will be a weapon in our hands, nothing more.
Very well, Mazareth. Go to these giants, offer them what they desire, and bring them to our side. But be wary if they show any sign of treachery. Destroy them. We cannot afford to let monsters roam unchecked.
As you command, my lord, I will leave at once.
And so, with the weight of the empire pressing down upon him, Mazaris departed the halls of Persepolis, setting forth on a path that would change the fate of the world. In the distance, the fires of war still burned, but now something far older and far more dangerous stirred from its slumber. Mazaris departed from Persepolis under the cover of night, his mind set on the task ahead. He traveled north, leaving behind the fertile lands of Persia and venturing into the barren wilderness where few dared to tread. The landscape grew more hostile with each passing day, the mountains rising like jagged teeth against the sky, their peaks shrouded in perpetual mist. The air was cold and thin, and the ground beneath his feet was treacherous, a maze of rocks and crevices that could swallow a man whole. But Mazaris was undeterred. He knew where he was going, for he had studied the old maps, the ancient texts that spoke of the giants and their hidden lairs. These were creatures born of the earth itself, beings whose strength was rivaled only by their hatred for the gods who had cast them out. After many days of arduous travel, Mazaris reached the place he sought, a vast, craggy valley nestled deep within the mountains, where the air was thick with the scent of sulfur and the ground rumbled with the echoes of some distant, subterranean force. The entrance to the giant's lair was a gaping maw in the side of a cliff, a dark, yawning chasm that seemed to lead directly into the heart of the earth. Mazaris stood before the entrance, feeling the weight of the mountain pressing down upon him, the darkness within calling to him like a whisper from the grave. He knew that what lay beyond was no mere legend, but a living, breathing force of destruction, a power that had been locked away for millennia. With a final steadying breath, Mazaris stepped into the darkness, his every sense on high alert. The air within the cave was thick and oppressive, the walls slick with moisture and the ground uneven and treacherous. The deeper he went, the more he could feel the presence of the giants, a sense of immense, slumbering power that thrummed through the very rock around him.
Brings you here, human. Do you seek death? For that is all you will find in this place.
I come with an offer, Grugoth, an offer of wealth, power, and revenge.
The other giants stirred at the mention of wealth, their eyes gleaming with interest. Grugoth, however, remained cautious.
Speak, human, but know that if your words do not please me, I will crush you where you stand.
I come on behalf of Cyrus the Great, ruler of the Persian Empire. He seeks to conquer Babylon, a city of immense wealth and power. But the city is defended by a warrior named Ira, a man who possesses divine strength. We have fought him before and failed. That is why I have come to you.
What do we care for your human wars? Why should we concern ourselves with your petty struggles?
Because the humans of Babylon are weak. They are nothing compared to your might. But they have something you desire, riches beyond measure. Gold, jewels, treasures of every kind. All of it could be yours if you help us bring down their city.
The giants exchanged glances, their greed evident in the way they licked their lips and flexed their massive hands. Grugoth, however, remained wary.
What guarantee do we have that you will keep your word, human? What is to stop us from taking these riches for ourselves once Babylon falls?
You could certainly try, Grugoth, but you would find yourselves facing the full might of the Persian Empire. Our armies are vast, our warriors skilled, and our king is not one to tolerate betrayal. But if you join us willingly, you will have not only the wealth of Babylon, but the protection of Persia as well. Together, we can crush all who stand in our way.
Grugoth's eyes gleamed with a fierce, predatory light. He knew that Mazaris was playing a dangerous game, but the promise of wealth and power was too tempting to resist. He could see the hunger in the eyes of his fellow giants, the desire to once again walk the earth as they had in ages past, to crush the weak beneath their feet and take what was rightfully theirs. After a long, tense silence, Grugoth spoke.
Very well, human. We will join you in this war. But know this, we are not your servants. We fight for our own reasons, and we will take what we are owed. If you try to deceive us, there will be no place in this world where you can hide.
I would expect nothing less, Grugoth. Prepare your forces. The time for battle is near.
With that, the giants of old stirred once more, their slumbering wrath awakened by the promise of war. Mazaris had secured his allies, but at what cost? Only time would tell. Mazaris returned to Persepolis with the knowledge that he had succeeded in his mission. The giants would join the Persian army, and with their strength, Cyrus would have the power to bring Babylon to its knees. Yet, as he rode back through the barren wilderness, Mazaris could not shake the feeling that he had unleashed something far more dangerous than he had anticipated. The giants were creatures of case, beings of immense power and insatiable greed. They could be allies in battle, yes, but they could just as easily turn against the Persians once their own desires were fulfilled. Mazares knew that he would have to tread carefully to ensure that the giants remained useful tools rather than uncontrollable threats. When Mazares arrived at the palace, Cyrus was waiting for him in the grand hall, surrounded by his generals. The tension in the room was palpable as Mazares stepped forward to deliver his report.
My lord, the giants have agreed to join us. They will march with our army and fight against Babylon. With their strength, victory will be ours.
Cyrus's eyes gleamed with satisfaction, a predatory smile curling his lips.
Well done, Mazares! You have brought us a powerful weapon, one that will ensure our victory. Babylon will fall, and Ira will be crushed beneath the might of Persia.
But can we trust them, my lord? Giants are known for their treachery. They may turn on us once the battle is won.
Cyrus's smile faded slightly, but his confidence remained unshaken.
We will keep him in check, Cabrias. We will use their strength to our advantage, and when the time comes, we will deal with them as we see fit. For now, they are a means to an end, a tool to bring down Babylon and restore our glory.
Mazares nodded in agreement, though a shadow of doubt lingered in his mind. He knew the risks, but he also knew that they had no other choice. Babylon had defied them once, but it would not do so again. With the giants on their side, they would sweep across the land like a storm, leaving nothing but ruin in their wake. In the days that followed, Mazares worked tirelessly to ensure that the alliance with the giants was secure. He traveled once more to their hidden lair, where the giants were already preparing for war, their massive weapons being forged from the very stone of the mountains. Grugath, ever the shrewd leader, was not content with mere promises. He demanded that Mazares show proof of the wealth that awaited them in Babylon, proof that the Persian king would keep his word. The giants, their eyes gleaming with greed, accepted the tribute with deep, rumbling laughter. They were pleased, for the riches confirmed what Mazares had promised, that Babylon would indeed be worth their while. But Mazares did not stop there. He spoke to the giants of the glory that awaited them, the chance to crush the human cities that had risen in the wake of their banishment, to reclaim the power that had been denied them for so long.
You will walk the earth once more as gods. You will take what is yours by right, and no man will dare stand in your way. The Persian Empire will be your ally, and together we will reshape the world.
The giants, swayed by Mazares' words and the wealth before them, pledged their loyalty, at least for the time being. They would march with the Persians, they would lay waste to Babylon, and they would claim the riches that awaited them. But even as they agreed, Mazares knew that their loyalty was a fragile thing, built on greed and the promise of power. He would have to be vigilant, to keep a close eye on these creatures of chaos, to ensure that they did not turn on him before their task was done. With the giants now in their ranks, the Persian army began to gather its strength once more. Cyrus, reinvigorated by the prospect of victory, ordered his generals to prepare for the march on Babylon. The city that had once defied him would soon fall, and the name of Cyrus the Great would once again strike fear into the hearts of all who opposed him. But as the Persian army assembled, as the giants readied their weapons of stone and steel, a sense of foreboding hung over the camp. The alliance with the giants was a dangerous gamble, one that could either lead to unparalleled victory or devastating ruin. And far away in the heart of Babylon, Ira would soon feel the tremors of the approaching storm. A storm that carried with it the wrath of giants and the fury of a king determined to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his. The battle for Babylon was about to begin once more, but this time the stakes were higher than ever. The giants, long forgotten in the mists of time, were marching to war, and the world would tremble beneath their feet.